There's a few ways that are atypical or non-traditional that I'm being called to open up this, I suppose, session today. First of all, you're going to know this is for you because it's going to find you on a weekend, the end of the week. The second way you're going to know that this message is for you is there is something that your soul has volunteered to walk through so deeply in this lifetime, only so that for the pure purpose of you being able to walk souls through this exact terrain. And what I'm picking up in the field is a lot of doubt that you have experienced in regards to either your purpose or how things are unfolding in your journey. I'm seeing things unfold like a memory, but then there's questions around, are you sure it's supposed to be happening this way? Or I'm kind of seeing someone like they volunteered for something, and it's not that you forgot, but there's like this essence of, are you sure? Me? It kind of gives me that energy. But then it's like, of course it's you. Yes, it's you. And we're going to open up with just a few messages. There's two specific decks that I'm being called to draw from so that we can now walk through this cycle together, because you are being beckoned, especially over this next 3-month cycle. I'm seeing as a wormhole, which is a shortcut. It's a deviation from what people would typically experience within this lifetime. And there is this advanced experience where you're going to be rapidly accelerating on your life's path as these planetary movements, and particularly this asteroid Chiron is coming through very strongly today. And this is a very specific archetypal figure that essentially doesn't point to our weaknesses, but actually our medicine, our healing medicine that we're here to offer to Mother Earth and all extensions of her. These planetary movements and these asteroids that also participate within this local universe. Ooh, and I'm hearing non-local universes. This is a signature that impacts you across many incarnations that are running parallel to each other, that are simultaneously playing out. I keep seeing it as dark matter, which I did do a reading about. Yet since we had that session together, dark matter has also been linked now to gravity that's leaking in from a parallel dimension. So there's something around gravity or gravitational force. Maybe there is like this gravitational force field where you're pulling other people into your orbit. I don't want to say people, but like souls into your orbit, opportunities into your orbit. You're going to know this is for you if you feel like you're being called to step into some type of role in terms of being able to hold space for other souls in a way that you had learned to cultivate for yourself, but it's mainly because you had no other option. You didn't know how strong you are until you were left with no other option. So I'm going to go ahead and draw from this deck real quick, and then we're going to talk about it. There are a few things I want to talk about today. I was going to put them in another message, but I was being guided to actually redirect that and integrate it into this meeting that we're having. Another message with the wormhole was that there is this time dilation bubble that you're being provided, especially over the next 3 months. I did do a Chiron reading in this, so I'll link it down below. This is going to happen from now up until mid-September, and it's going to give you a preview into what 2027 has in store for you, because on April 14th, Chiron is going to station into Taurus up until 2033. Let's see. But it's designed to bring any kind of unconscious material to the surface, to essentially illuminate aspects of yourself and the potential within yourself that has remained hidden up until now. But something's being revealed to you. I'm seeing on the unveiling, something's being actually unveiled, like it's lifting some type of dimensional layer of this reality. And okay, let's see. I'm hearing the invitation is to simply witness what's being illuminated within you. I was going to say to you, yeah, we have infinity. So when it comes to your own eternal essence, We're going to go ahead and read infinity. That's the first message. I was also being guided to use my multi-dimensional deck today. And specifically, I'm being guided to read it from the big book, which is in this drawer. I feel like there's something you go reopening. Let's see this. Okay, garden chimes, of course. So you have the water song. There is something about your fluid, eternal essence. Let's read it. Again, the moon and the gravitational force. And there's something around the sun also being super important. Could be from the solstice. Jesus Christ. Okay, right. This thing almost fell. Again, it could feel like your old worldview is collapsing in some way. Let's go ahead and not drop you. Even again, it's like it's shifting your entire perspective. Maybe on how you see yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look at garden chimes. Garden chimes and the water song speaks about duality, fusion, entanglement, and impact. Crashing waves carry a midnight sonata to the full moon as a collection of garden chimes disappears and reappears. These chimes are rocked not by the wind, but by the turbulence of sloshing waves in the water song. The earth quakes beneath the garden, triggered by sirens hidden in the waves. They sing a song so piercing that it vibrates and echoes through dimensions, like a soft spot between realms. Could these two cards be merging into one? Something that you may have compartmentalized as far as your life experience goes is actually the very aspect that you need to be able to integrate into. I'm hearing integrate in order to gather up the wisdom and the lessons hidden within the experience itself. When you see this card in a reading, take notice of the invisible strings that tie everything together. We are deeply entangled with the world around us. You greatly impact the people around you, and they you, even when you don't realize it. As flutters in the wind and quakes in the earth, your actions, words, and influence ripple into the lives of many. This is something that you have gathered across lifetimes. It feels like something that you've been prepared for, and I'm hearing actually something that you came back to this planet to do. I'm hearing to finish in infinity. Let's go and read the infinity message. Be open to the possibility of possibilities. Yeah, so it's opening you up to a completely different life experience. The universe as we understand is truly infinite in every sense. Beyond the space that we can see exists more universe. The slice of the universe that we can see is limited, since only the parts whose light has had time to reach the earth is observable. This means that there is always much more than we can see, and there remain an infinite number of possibilities. Infinity has no end, therefore it's infinite. Our minds have a start and end, so they prefer to stay within the limited because it's more comfortable. Reason states that there are a few possibilities, but ignores the other millions. By not considering or believing in those, we delimit the infinite by putting limits on something that does not have to have them at all, so they imminently cease to exist. Infinity proposes that you see beyond what you can see now, opening your mind to the possibility of possibilities. If you do so, they will rise again in plenty new forms, but again, not without getting rid of the limitations first. There is something that's going to be essentially blown up when it comes to your worldview, and it's the importance of everything that has contributed towards your evolution journey. If you have felt like certain things have, I almost want to say, have not been valuable within the experience, even if that especially is lower vibrational experiences that have occurred in this realm of contrast within this container, that doesn't equate to the value of those experiences, whether they're high vibrational, low vibrational, and the quality and the value hidden within the depths of those interactions, the depths of that frequency or density in which you were moving through, still allowed you to come to the same exact outcome, which was gathering wisdom. Even if it was learned through pain and suffering, especially if it was learned through pain and suffering. And the invitation for you at this time in your journey is to transcend beyond the eyes of suffering and instead see these experiences through the lens of the soul. And I feel nature is going to be one of the most powerful allies. That's something that I do want to touch on before we continue. I do want to just tap into a gateway of the light activation message as well. But something that was coming through is nature being one of the most potent and powerful allies. I'm hearing you're much like a crystal. So if you think about different crystals, they have different essences, but there is a element within them, right? These are minerals. They are extensions of the earth that hold these specific frequencies that can be felt by those who are able to interact with them. And there's something about your soul's frequency. And this is because this entire world is life force. From the water to the earth herself, to the trees and the oxygen that they provide us, you are the very ether that you're breathing in this moment. And so this is something that we inherently know when it comes to this intimate relationship that we have with this entire plasma universe that we are immersed in and we have the privilege of being able to experience. Because when we return to nature, and I feel like this is how souls feel as you are drawing them into your orbit right now to provide some type of medicinal experience. And that could just be from you being seated in this stillness and being able to admire the intricacies and complexities of not just your own surroundings, but the experiences that this soul has also moved through. And just look at them and say, well, all of your life experiences have been in perfect design because they've all contributed towards your evolution. And there is something so freeing in that. There is something so beautiful, and I'm hearing intimate within that connection itself. And because we're returning to this remembrance, everything externally in this network is attempting to redirect us towards our internal map that ultimately leads us back to our own etheric origins. And so when we spend time in nature or we spend time connecting with our own essence, then our body begins returning back to this natural order. And it's because we're remembering the relationship that we have with these larger organizing systems. At times within this matrix, our attention becomes so externalized into the people and the stories and the events, and we just get caught up and earthbound and entangled within it, to the point where we actually begin to disconnect from our own divinity, from our own human potential. And I feel like that's what infinity is reminding you at this time. It's to say, hey, you are more than your stories, you are more than the cycles that have played out, you are more than your wounds, more than this identity that was created around those circumstances. And it's helping you do something with it. It's helping you reconnect back with the very system that actually sustains you as you move through your life experiences. And I see infinity as the formless essence. It's the part of you that's been untouched by time, unaffected by what has occurred throughout your space-time travels. And I'm seeing it as the one that's been collecting wisdom, the one that's been collecting data through this experiential participation. And these systems are always available to us, you know, in our communication with the sun, in our communication with the moon, that's reflecting the sun's essence. The sun is the core essence of you. It is this intercommunication with plasma that ultimately allows you to shift the way that you're feeling and relating to your life experiences on this planet. And life is constantly attempting to bring us back into coherence, to bring our organism back into this deep, sacred, and intimate connection with our interconnectedness to all things, with that entanglement. And this is the higher intelligence. Okay, so that is your message. I'm going to go ahead and get a gateway of the light activation as well. Spending time in nature could be something that you're being called to do for sure. See you now accessing information that previously felt like it was hidden. And I feel like you weren't supposed to see this up until now, or you haven't been able to see this, especially while operating in survival. Again, we have the crown chakra opening, so your crown chakra is being upgraded. This is a message that basically talks about you creating from the higher self, from being more than just a wound or the character, more than a story or an emotional pattern. So let's go ahead and take a look at the crown chakra. The crown chakra is one of our filters of perception that we can actually apply and utilize as we look at our life experiences, and we don't take it personally. We understand that we are everything and everything is us. And so we have been teaching ourselves these lessons through other extensions of the one source in which we all emerge from. When we see life through the crown chakra, what we see is ourself as a light being and all other extensions of the light, these children that are learning to return back to this wisdom once again. Divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy. Your crown chakra has been upgraded. The spiritual connections you have had are now being acknowledged, and the parts of yourself that you run from or ignored are being reclaimed. This is an important time for your uncovering gifts and wisdom as you're moving through healing. You may have experienced moments that have tested your faith and your belief in the divine, and know that it's okay and no grievances are being held against you. The Holy Spirit is with you and within you. This is a coming home to your truest self. You're also being encouraged to prepare yourself for miracles. Expect to experience wonder and blessings. For you, being surrounded by healing light, divine encounters and holy experiences are happening around you. If you have had a challenging relationship with spirituality or religion in the past, this is now being healed so that you can move forward in a more authentic way. Experiencing the divine on a personal level and beyond the limitations of unnecessary dogma. You are connected. So you're not outsourcing your connection. At the base, you have the inner earth. So it's almost like you are anchored into this planet. This is also your connection to the ancestral realm, your connection to the Akashic records. It is your largest center of primordial life force. So there's something around the base, right? It's a root chakra and then a crown chakra energy. So it's where the non-physical anchors into the physical form. How well are you embodying your higher self within your everyday life expressions? Because that is looking at this, your life on planet Earth through, a gamma filter of perception, which is essentially saying, how would my higher self navigate and think and feel about these circumstances when it comes to my life experiences, and what can I create from them? Base chakra strength, laying foundations. There's something that your higher self, which is just your highest expression, has been laying foundations for. Let me get a, what do I want to do? Let's get more of a message. Serious star blessings. If you've had something on hold, this is where you're being, if invoked is the word that's coming through, and it's an invitation to finally follow through with some type of calling that you have. It could be creating, I'm hearing a support network. It could be creating some type of project. It usually is about some type of creative project, even if that's your life. But it's a yes, proceed, be seen, and push through card. Something that you may want to create from the heart space with the heart there at the base. I'll go ahead and read it. It's a very auspicious energy. This is going to be a confirmation for you. If you feel like you're being called to step into the role of a healer, which is somebody that's able to hold space, simply because they've learned to hold space for themselves, this is essentially your confirmation. So, serious star blessings. This message comes as a gateway of a giant yes. It brings the energy of wishing on a star and seeing that wish come true. And another message that was coming through is somebody that rediscover something in this lifetime, and I'm just seeing it as a yes, yes, yes. Like there's something in which you're completing, or there's something in which you are evolving into. It's a chapter, and I'm seeing a version of yourself that you're evolving into. Who you've had to be in order to get here is no longer who you have to be moving forward. Your intellect has taken you so far, but it would take you no farther. Your intuition will be your guide, especially through these next 3 months in regards to hidden material that is surfacing. Pay attention to what your deep desires are during these next 3 months. This is a time for you to move forward with any projects or ideas that you have felt called to carry out. There is an energy of positivity, abundance, and excitement surrounding you at this time. Whatever dreams you've been revisiting recently aren't dreams. You're connecting with a premonition. Something on the inside that you're dreaming about will soon become something that you'll be experiencing in the physical. So think about what it is that you desire instead of what it is that you fear, and see yourself celebrating as if your wildest dreams have already come true. And as you do so, you'll be creating the perfect energy for them to manifest into your world. Some of you have already taken action towards what this is. Others of you have been contemplating it, and it's the action that will actually collapse that thought into form. Some type of idea that you see in your mind can be something that you're able to hold in your hand, but don't limit your potential. Don't block yourself off from vast myriad portions of timelines that are available. If we think about portion, I'm kind of seeing it as portion control or restriction. It could be where you've been restricting yourself from thinking that you have to perform instead of just simply express. There's something that you're being called to just simply express. I'm hearing it could be covering up the wound. I'm seeing somebody dress that wound, but wearing it proudly. It's like the difference of breaking your arm and having a cast, or like your leg and having a cast. And then Spirit showing me, them being shy of, oh my gosh, don't look at this big cast that I have, compared to someone going in and passing people pens like, hey, can you sign my cast? Da 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 da. It's a temporal moment where this healing process that you're going through, especially when it comes to, I'm hearing a molecular internal restorative process, this rejuvenating process as you reconnect from yourself, is something incredibly temporal, especially from the bigger picture. This is like, how can I explain it? It's like this sentence within an entire book. It's just a moment within this lifetime of you having this cast. It's a smaller part, and we have quantum entanglement. That's the page I opened up on. It's a smaller part to a bigger story that's unfolding. This is telepathic consciousness. That's what I've opened it up on. The same happens with your thoughts. There could be something that you're calling in with a quantum entanglement. Illusionary separation, particles that were once attached remain related, affecting and modifying each other, no matter the distance or level of separation between them. Your energies can still be connected to each other regardless of the physical distance between you and the person or thing. The information regarding what you do, think, or feel arrives. The intertwined and direct relationships in your microcosm causes you to influence each other, affecting everything that happens, including your actions, emotions, and beliefs. The same happens with your thoughts and feelings. These are energy frequencies or wavelengths which transcend space and time. We use them to transmit and receive information. Regardless of whether someone is close or far away in this plane or another, subconscious communication is constant. You would think, therefore, that thoughts can travel. In reality, however, they go nowhere, and there is no separation between energies or interconnection. I'm seeing it as this etheric network and etheric DNA. In a broader sense, it also occurs at a planetary level, not knowing what there is or what happens on the other side. I'm seeing also as Chiron as a conscious organism. He is a very, he's an archetype, but the asteroid himself is a conscious organism that holds a very specific frequency that will be communicating with you in this multi-layered nested reality that we're seated in. And so this is a specific frequency that will be calling each and every one of us in our own unique designs to move through this cycle. Okay, I'm hearing in order to deeper reconnect with our purpose and our why. You know that it happened. When it comes to your life experience, you know that it happened. But the why it happened is about to be unveiled on a completely different level. Like, we look back at our life experiences and then we see them from a higher resolution and a higher resolution and a higher resolution. Your why is about to get so much deeper. I'm hearing it's about to get so clarified to you. Yet, in similar vein to fractals, quantum entanglements appear simultaneously across different scales. This means that there are various quantum entanglements working in parallel. This includes those belonging to your microcosm. This could have happened within your family, community, and people that we learn from or teach. On a larger scale, it's up to the connection with all travelers on planet Earth. It's our second home that we share on a larger scale, and it's our shared home from home. Whether the case, separation is a man-made invention. We transform each other like clay passing through different hands, some in subtle ways. so light as the wind that we cannot perceive them. Others mold gently like water, and others do it in an abrupt way, like a great wave exploding on the rocks. What was that energy that you had? It was like both. Whatever form it takes, the impact will last forever. There are ripples. Thing is, anything that you create in this realm, you will be deeply remembered by. It reminds me of a discussion I was having with Mo the other day. Where, for example, the frequency and vibration of Michael Jackson continues to linger within this third dimension. It's like he continues to exist in energy because he is innately entangled with all of the creations that he left for souls to be able to connect with. So he's still working on this planet even from the other side, from this unique frequency that his eternal consciousness was able to inhabit temporarily, had lasting impact. There is something like this. It could be conversations that we've had with spirits that have passed on. I'm just seeing something that you're passing on. Some of you could be going through a 𝓬𝓪𝓻𝓵. I would definitely take a look at that for sure. There's something very symbolic and significant. Some in subtle ways, so light that the wind cannot. So you mold others gently like water, but then you could also have this abrupt kind of impact, like a great wave exploding on the rocks. Whatever it is, you may impact people in subtle ways. And there's also ways that souls have impacted your journey. Let's take a look at a starseed message. I feel this is going to be a complementary force. Weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry. There's something that you don't need to carry anymore. It could be some type of perspective that is not going to be super conducive or productive or supportive. Empathetic starseed. So again, boundaries are going to be really, really important. Energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. You don't need to worry about how you're going to be perceived. Again, you're not creating to perform, you're creating for creation's sake. Boundaries. Okay, this is a really important message. Boundaries is, where do you need to establish better boundaries? There's a message when it comes to just quantum entanglement in general, right? And the boundaries in this system. Boundaries are going to be super, super important because, again, quantum entanglement is just the nature of this construct. We're all one at the molecular and atomic level. And so particles that exist within us exist literally within all things. And really, when we get down to the molecular level, like the subatomic level of this layer of this reality, it's like you've seen through the simulation and unveiled a dimensional layer of this entire construct, this entire holographic system that we're immersed in, and have accessed this level of awareness while being seated inside of the experience that really very few ever master. And I'm hearing this as like the linear progression. It may have felt like it's taken you a long time to even get to this point, yet it's all divinely timed. The most important thing is how you're neutralizing your imbalance or toxic attachments or entanglements within this system when it comes to your connection to all things. It's really important to be able to literally neutralize your relationship to these events. We're talking about accepting it for what it is will instantaneously neutralize our connection to it, and the resonance begins to shift as well. You'll never be able to eliminate the fact that you are connected and one with everything. However, it's really important to neutralize our relationship to our interconnectedness to all things and just be seated inside of this stillness and observe the intricate design and admire really this construct for what it is that we've created it to be, essentially. And then we'll be able to remove ourselves from any imbalance exchanges between ourselves and something, or ourselves and someone, or an event that has occurred, or a story that has played out. There is something when it comes to the boundaries that need to be placed when it comes to etheric chords. Chords are created through the exchange of life force, essentially. And that is neural pathways within our brain that are reinforced through the same ways of thinking about our life experiences on Earth, the same way of feeling about them. These are bioelectrical signals that find each other, and then they create a synapse that's then holographically projected into the simulation. And so your internal state of being and your internal pathways will then begin to project into this construct and seek out these experiences that will simply just confirm that disempowerment back to you, or that loneliness back to you, or that fear because of what has occurred. And there is some type of important shift when it comes to your perspective. I'm just seeing like a paradigm shift that will be occurring for you. There's a complete paradigm shift where you're looking at the same scenario that's played out, maybe the same person, but you're seeing it from literally the lens of the soul. You're seeing it from the realm of the energetic exchange and the information that was being exchanged through that energy, which is also the emotional exchange. It's all interconnected. It's all intertwined. You can think about it as like millions of I almost want to say nerves that connect us with organisms within this universe, and they are always in resonance with our internal vibrational frequency. Just seeing how that's entangled within these experiences, you're able to free yourself from these experiences. And it's something that, you know, you can watch this all day long and just hear what it is I'm saying, or you're able to listen to the things that I'm saying, which I know so many of you do. When it comes to your homework, right? Your homework is to actually put this into practice and embody these ways of thinking and feeling about your own space-time travel interactions, and being able to transform your resonance or your relationship to it. Instead of seeing it through the lens of judgment or disempowerment, are you able to actually see it through the lens of compassion? Because it's you learning how to become your own source. What it is that you may have felt like you needed from another person at that time in your life is actually something that you're able to anchor into your body now, into the memory, into the experience, etherically, emotionally. This is the entanglement within the system. It's retrocausality. When you heal yourself in the present, you also heal the past version of yourself that wasn't able to show up for themselves in the way that you're able to show up for yourself now. And that also shifts your resonance, right? Almost like train tracks when it comes to the infinite potential timelines that are available for you now, instead of them being limited to this small scope. And so every single attachment or thought form or entanglement that we have within this system is just an unprocessed emotion. It's just us not fully processing these life experiences that we've had through that deeper introspective lens. And ultimately, introspection becomes the foundation in which freedom emerges, in which we return to becoming liberated by these experiences. And it's because we're changing our resonance to that event that has played out, right? We're changing our resonance to that chord, which allows it to dissolve. We dissolve this through the lens of unconditional love, which is something that relieves our body. It also relieves us from these etheric entanglements as well. And that is part of the boundaries. That's part of the lesson in which I see many of us as a human species being called to kind of return back to when it comes to this cycle that the earth is moving into. And really it's what it is that we're returning to in many ways that we've already known throughout millions of lifetimes. This is essentially you becoming a transduction system. It's where you are at this natural filtration system, like a pearl that can only be created from a parasite that had entered into the oyster. You've created this internal container when it comes to your interactions, and being able to take something that seems like on a surface level was maybe not super valuable, but you've been able to transform your relationship to the actual experience. And you'll notice that now your resonance to that event or that person begins to transform along with your thought pattern and your emotional state. And you literally shift your entanglement with it, right? It begins to loosen your entanglement because your current frequency is no longer a match to those same energies that you were previously connected to. You're not connecting to your life experiences in the same way. You're literally seeing them through the perspective of your higher self. That's what the crown chakra is. And so if you want to continue to do that with any kind of limiting belief systems or cords, especially when it comes to your immediate family or your friends or people that you interact with on a, day-to-day basis. And this is a state of lucidity. That's an ongoing state of awareness. This bleeds into our dream state. And that's why mystery schools would often speak about this level of awareness that we're able to anchor into our organism, into our being as we navigate this construct. It also is applicable and bleeds into every other construct that we navigate. I see it for you. So I'm just going to close out saying that ultimately, this is about your free will of perception. And that's what you're being invited to do at this stage, to shift your perspective in the way in which you're perceiving your life experiences. You can see them from a lower octave, you can see them from a higher octave, but your free will that can be applied in the lens that you're interpreting your life experiences through can become something that ultimately not just liberates you, but it also is something that empowers you because you move through it. And on the other side of that discomfort, not only have you grown wiser and become refined by these experiences and not defined, it's also something that you've moved through and that you had an agreement when it comes to moving through so that you can assist. I'm hearing are now equipped with the knowledge and the tools and perhaps resources that will allow you to hold space for other souls who will gravitate towards you because of this thing. So that is the message. I'm going to love and leave you right there. I just wanted to get this out today. Yeah, that's your homework, right? How can you transform your relationship to your life experiences? What do you feel like you had agreed to on a very deep level to move through that you're now being called to be of assistance in this world for? I wonder. Let me know in the comment sections down below. And where's Chiron in your chart? Do you know? Let me know. I did a video on Chiron. I also did a video on soul contracts versus karmic contracts. That also may be something that you want to watch because I go into far more depth when it comes to being able to interpret the difference between the different experiences that we can participate in. So, yes. I'm going to love and leave you right there. I just wanted to get that out. Personal reading details are also down below. Also check out Otter Spirit down below if you're looking for some high quality AAE grade gemstones. $1 of the proceeds are donated towards Otter Sanctuaries. I have a beautiful blue blend on today. And until next time, my love. Bye.